Guys, today we are going to discuss one past year question of Indian Economic Services. The question came in year 2020 in the GE paper 1, General Economics paper 1. Hello everyone, welcome to PLUTUS IAS. Guys, today we are going to discuss one past year question of Indian Economic Services. The question came in year 2020 in the GE paper 1, General Economics paper 1. So what's the question? The question is, what is meant by deadweight loss? Second part of the question is, why does a price ceiling usually result in deadweight loss? Okay, so see guys, what do we mean by deadweight loss, how it occurs? We are going to discuss it after a few minutes. But first of all, let me tell you that what will happen due to deadweight loss. See, deadweight loss is also known as excess burden, okay? And due to deadweight loss, there is reduction in the efficiency of the economy, okay? Efficiency of the economy is reduced. What do we mean by reduction in the efficiency of the economy? It means that market cannot reach socially optimal equilibrium level. What is the meaning of socially optimal equilibrium level? See guys, optimal means the best possible that we can get, okay? So, market will not be able to get the best possible output or the best possible price or the best possible quantity equilibrium under the case of deadweight loss. Okay, understood? Now please see, I am going to demonstrate this thing with the help of a simple demand and supply curve so that this thing becomes clear to you, right? So along x-axis I am taking quantity of the goods. Along y-axis, I am taking prices of the goods. Okay. Now, if I draw simple supply curve, it is upward sloping, yes or no? Upward portion of MC curve, right? This is your supply curve. And let's say this is our demand curve. I am representing it by DD. Point of intersection of supply and demand curve gives us the equilibrium point, right? Let's call this equilibrium point as E, okay? Corresponding to this equilibrium point, we have got quantity. Let's call this quantity as Q naught, okay? And corresponding to this equilibrium point, we have equilibrium price. Let's call this equilibrium price as P naught. Okay. Now guys, look here. This is a normal condition that we are talking of. This equilibrium is a normal equilibrium, or you can say it is the equilibrium of free market. What do we mean by equilibrium of free market? There are no restrictions imposed on the market. Okay. So I'm going to write it that here we have obtained MKT means market, EQ means equilibrium, market equilibrium without restrictions. There are no restrictions as such. Okay. Now look here guys, I am going to shade our region, okay, and then I am going to tell you what does it mean. So first I am going to shade it. So this is the shaded region that I am talking about. Okay. So this yellow color shaded region is representing consumer surplus. It is consumer surplus. What is the meaning of consumer surplus? Please see, equilibrium, free market equilibrium or a market equilibrium without restrictions was obtained at point E, and at point E the consumers had to pay P0 price for Q0 quantity, right? But if you look at this demand curve, you will observe that demand curve is starting from here. That means that consumers were willing to pay even higher amount of price. Consumers were willing to pay higher amount of price for the same amount of goods. For Q0 amount of goods, consumers were willing to pay up till this point. But they have to pay lesser amount, that is P0. So this excess which they were expecting, who were expecting? Consumers, but they are not going to pay it. This is the surplus for the consumers, yes or no? So that's why we are calling it consumer surplus. Now look here, I am again going to shade one region. Right, this triangle which I am shading. This green color shaded triangle. Okay? Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Now this green color shaded triangle, it represents producer surplus. This is your producer surplus. What do we mean by producer surplus? Please see guys, for equilibrium point E, how much price is the producer getting? He is getting P0 amount of price. Yes, he is getting P0 price for his Q0 goods, right or wrong? But producers were ready to sell their goods even at a lower price. See this point. Producers were ready to sell their goods till this point. Let me call this point as Z, and let me call this point as Y. So producers were ready to sell their goods at a cheaper price called Z, and consumers were ready to purchase their goods at a higher price called Y. Okay, fine. So producers were ready to sell at a lower price, but they are getting higher price than what they were expecting, right? So this excess price that they are getting, this area that you see, this is the surplus for the producer. Understood or not? Clear? Now guys, let's talk about price ceiling. What is the meaning of price ceiling? So first of all, understand, price ceiling means reduction in the price. Who does it? Government does it. Why? The reason is that if there are some goods which are very much socially beneficial, that means their social benefit is high and their consumption level or their requirement is also high in the economy. So what government does it? Government reduces the price of such goods. Why? So that maximum people can avail to these goods. They can consume these goods. Okay? And this reduction in price that is done by the government is known as price ceiling. Understood or not? Right. Now, let's say government has reduced the price and this is the reduced price or ceiling price. Okay. So this is your price P1. Reduction is done in the price. Understood or not? Okay. Now one more thing I want to tell you, some extra information. Why price ceiling is done, I have told you. Now pay attention. Whenever price ceiling is done, this is a key concept or a trick you can say, you can always keep it in your mind. There are two things. One is price ceiling, another is price floating. So whenever price ceiling is done, the prices of the goods, they decline below the equilibrium price. As you can see, P1 is below the P0. It is lower than the equilibrium price. Okay. And whenever price floating is done, then price of the good, it increases or moves up the equilibrium price. So if price floating would have been done, then the price that we would have obtained for the good, it would have been above P naught. Okay. Why price floating is done? So see guys, price floating is done for those goods which are socially harmful, or government does not want too much circulation of those goods in the economy. So intentionally government increases the price of such goods under price floating, so that lesser and lesser amount of people can consume such goods. This is known as price floating. Okay, but leave it. Presently we are concerned with price ceiling. So what has happened? Reduction in the price has occurred. Yes or no? Okay. Now when reduction in the price has occurred, then see, if I extend this point of intersection of price with the supply, if I extend it upwards, it intersects here and it intersects with the quantity here. Getting my point? Let's call this quantity as Q1. Yes or no? Getting my point? This quantity is Q1. Okay? And yeah, now fine. Now please see guys, want to discuss few things first. Pay attention. What will happen due to this price ceiling? We understood what price ceiling is, why it is done. So first of all, whenever price ceiling is done, it is a thumb rule that whenever price ceiling will be done, whenever price ceiling will be done, first let's talk about producer surplus, then we will talk about consumer surplus as well. Whenever price ceiling will be done, producer surplus is always going to decline, as you can observe here also. Now, this area is your producer surplus. Initially, without price ceiling, this entire triangle was the producer surplus. So what has happened? Producer surplus has declined or not? So due to price ceiling, I am writing producer surplus as PS. PS will decline. And sir, what about consumer surplus? See, consumer surplus after price ceiling can increase or decrease. How? See, it's very obvious that consumer surplus will increase if price ceiling is done. Why? Because consumers were expecting how much price? They were expecting this Y price, then they were getting this P naught price. So this much yellow shaded area was consumer surplus, yes or no? But now they are required to pay even lower price called P naught. So this region also, this green region and this yellow region, this all of it, the addition of it will be consumer surplus. So sir, consumer surplus will increase. No, again there is one more condition. See, consumer surplus can increase or it can even decrease. How sir? How will it decrease? See, when the prices of goods have declined, so consumers may decide to purchase more quantity of goods. Yes or no? Demand increase. They will start purchasing more. See, when they will start purchasing more, then they will actually be paying this much price. Yeah, and when they will pay this much price, see, the reduction in the area, that means consumer surplus can increase or it can decrease as well. So, due to price ceiling, your consumer surplus can increase or decrease. It will increase if consumers stick to the same quantity of goods, and it will decrease if consumers decide to purchase more quantity of goods. Got my point? Yes or no? But guys, look at something. If you observe, I am going to shade it, let's say with blue color. Look at this portion. Are you able to see? Okay, it's not visible that much. Okay, so let me use another color. This color, yeah. Now is it visible? Yeah. Look at this triangle. And again, look at this triangle. the shaded region is not recovered either by the producer or by the consumer. Yes or no? Right or wrong? This is the price ceiling. So how much is producer getting? See, he is only able to recover this much from here till here. This is the let me use another pen. So producer is able to recover this much. This is the new producer surplus. Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. If we talk about consumer, consumer is able to recover till here, from here till here. But look at this triangle, these two triangles, they are neither encased or recovered by the producer or by the consumer. They are lost. This much is a loss. No one is recovering it. No one is gaining from it. Neither the producer nor the consumer. So this blue color shaded triangle is known as DWL or deadweight loss. That means overall who is losing? Economy is losing. Economy is not performing at its optimal level due to this deadweight loss. Why economy is not performing at its optimal level? Because this shaded blue region, this much of the quantity with price, multiplication of the quantity with price, this much resource is lost. No one is able to recover. Understood? So I hope you understood the concept of deadweight loss and how price ceiling results in it. Thank you. We'll see you in the next video.